My fiancée left me for someone else, and now she's dressing sexy for him. She never cared enough to do that when we were together. I'm a 31-year-old guy, and not too long ago, my partner of 5 years, who's 29, sat me down for a serious talk. She confessed that she was having major doubts about going through with our wedding, which was only 2 months away. She said she wasn't sure if marrying me was the right thing to do, and mentioned that she'd been forming a friendship with a guy we both know well. He's someone we've hung out with plenty of times. It didn't take long for things to get even messier. After I went to bed that night, she left the house in the middle of the night to go over to his place and didn't come back until the next day. That's when the floodgates opened. Over the next 2 days, countless conversations came up, and it slowly became clear that this wasn't just a sudden thing. For months, she'd been growing closer to this guy. At first, I thought it was only an emotional thing, which was already hard enough to swallow. But then I started noticing some holes in her story. Eventually, it came out that they had crossed the line physically. Later on, she admitted that she might even be in love with him. That was the last straw for me. I ended it right there. Now, we're dealing with the fallout, canceling a wedding that's costing us a small fortune and putting up the house we bought just a year ago for sale. I feel completely numb, and even though I told people I was okay, that couldn't be further from the truth. I haven't even begun to process this mess, and my head is spinning with a million thoughts about what she did and how deep this betrayal goes. But there's one thing, one stupid little detail, that I can't seem to shake. It's almost like my mind is zeroing in on it, just to avoid dealing with everything else. For all the years we were together, she never really wore any sexy or fancy underwear. She wasn't into it because they weren't comfortable on her, especially after she put on a little weight. Plus, she didn't like how panty lines showed through her clothes at work. She'd even apologize for not wearing tiny or sexy panties, but I kept telling her over and over that it didn't matter to me. I loved her for who she was, and it was her body. She could wear whatever made her feel good. Then, a week before she dropped this bombshell on me and we called off the wedding, she came home with a thong she'd bought. After everything went down, I asked if that new underwear had anything to do with her relationship with him. She swore up and down that it didn't. She's been spending a lot of time away from the house, saying she's staying with family. While I've been trying to keep myself occupied, I've been doing some of the laundry, and that's when I noticed something. There's a whole bunch of new panties that are way smaller than anything she used to wear. I also found several bras that aren't her usual style at all. When I picked them up from the washer, I nearly lost it, tears and anger all at once. She's barely been single, just dropped a bomb on me that I'll carry for the rest of my life. And here she is, acting like everything's fine. She's even gone out and bought this stuff she never once mentioned liking. Oh, so now you're suddenly reinventing yourself? You found a new love for skimpy underwear out of the blue? You never did this for me, and I never made an issue out of it. I always backed you up when you talked about your preferences. It was your body, and I wanted you to feel comfortable. You used to say you hated things like this, that they weren't your style. But now, suddenly you're all about it? The thought that she's dressing like this for someone else, or that she's only now decided to care about looking a certain way because she's single, nearly broke me. I tried so hard to make her feel loved, to show her she was beautiful to me no matter what she wore. She used to get down on herself, saying she didn't feel sexy, and I did everything I could to help her feel appreciated and desired. And now, after we've broken up, she suddenly cares enough to give this a shot? Sorry. I'm just overwhelmed right now. My mind is all over the place. I can't make sense of any of this. 5 years together, and she tells me she can't marry me and might be in love with someone else. She never wore anything like this for me because she said it wasn't her thing. Now that she's single, she's all about it. I feel so betrayed and angry.